This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Nasa gitna tayo ng constant information war, and alam naman po ninyo, yung malalaking media, Rappler, na milyong dolyar ang donasyon ng Western foundations and agencies. Ang Inquirer meron din yan, ang Vera Files, ang Philippine Star, if I'm not mistaken, tapos kontroladong Business World, TV5, ABS-CBN, of course, oligarchs, and sama-sama po sila on the side of the status quo, the old regime, sila yung buong panahon ng mga dilawan. At ngayon, kinakalaban nila yung mga pagbabagong ginagawa ni Presidente Duterte. At yan sa impormasyon, in the information realm, talagang unang gera lagi. And isa sa kanilang tuloy-tuloy na sinisiraan ay yung pakikipag-ugnay, tulungan ni Presidente Duterte ng China sa mga infrastructure projects, sa mga release ng tren, sa mga tren, mga proyektong ganyan, at siyempre yung mga financial aspects nito. Isa sa atake po ng mga kapanig ng mga Amerikano at mga status quo ay ang ginagamit nila ay yung media nga, at isa sa mga pangunahing tagapanggulo sa mga impormasyon ay itong mga individual. And itong unang paksa po natin dito sa tatlong paksa for this episode ay tungkol doon sa kasinungalingan, the lies about the Sri Lanka debt to China. Unang image po, ayan, isang star nila po sa disinformation at panggugulo, si Roy Logoles. Sabi ni Roy Logoles, dinakma daw ng China 70% of the Sri Lankan port of Hambantota. And ito daw ang lumika ng debt trap sa Sri Lanka. We will explain to you why this is a lie, and I'm saying it directly, it is a lie. Isa pa ang susunod ay isang profesora po sa University of the Philippines, retired na po siya. Siya ay with the National Defense College pa nga, at siya po ay dating naging assistant or undersecretary ng National Defense po natin. Alagang-alaga po itong Amerikano, tulad ng maraming mga profesor sa University of the Philippines. Ito ay si Professor Clarita Carlos. At dito sa kanyang sinabi dito, na remember that country by the Indian Ocean which borrowed huge sums from this country and could not pay back the loan? Now the lender controls the biggest and most strategic port, gateway to the Indian Ocean, blah, blah, blah. Ang tinutukoy, mayroon pa siyang patalinhaga, ang tinutukoy niya ay Sri Lanka at China rin. Same lie as Roy Logoles. Pero anong totoo po? Let's look at this next slide. This is the true picture, and this is from a Sri Lankan newspaper. How much debt do we owe whom? Sabi nitong Roar, this is a Sri Lankan newspaper. Ang bilateral loans, China is 117.3 billion, India is 137.4 billion, Japan is 457.5 billion, Asian Development Bank 533.8 billion, International Development Association 391.1 billion. Another source that we looked at, a staff writer of another Sri Lankan paper, the following image, if you're ready. Sabi niya, Sri Lankan is facing a crippling debt trap. Pero ano bang utang dyan? At the start of the year, this was last year, or 2017, we owe the world an estimated $65 billion. $8 billion of which is owed to the emerging global superpower that is China. $8 billion of 65 billion, tapos bibintangan nila ang China ang nag-debt trap sa Sri Lanka. That's preposterous. That's just around 1/8 yung pautang ng China sa Sri Lanka. At ang kabuuan, yung pinakita natin sa dalawang slides na yan, and including this one, China is not the cause of the debt trap. In fact, China and the Hambantota Port is the one that will be helping Sri Lanka repay its other big loans. Sunod na image po. The cabinet of the new Sri Lankan government, government ni Sirinesa, inaprubahan itong si Ports and Shipping Minister Mahinda Samarisinghe said, the cabinet approved the proposal to lease out the Hambantota Port to the China Merchants Company. Anong susunod na image? Anong sabi po rito? Sabi nitong minister, this agreement is a win-win for both parties. We will able to negotiate the shareholdings increase to increase Sri Lanka share. When I took over the negotiations, sabi niya, there were no reference to royalty payable to the Ports Authority. It included dividends. The new agreement includes royalty payment. We have also been able to ensure that no amendments were made to the Port Authority Act, which was a huge hurdle for us. Let's continue. The next image. What is China going to do? China, with the new agreement, will immediately give 10%, followed by another 330%. In the next slides, we'll see that. And then after 6 months, $660 million for a total of over $1 billion. Under the revised contract, which was announced by the cabinet, 30% or 330 million of the contract value will be paid by the Chinese immediately after they start work, which will be by next month according to their schedule. So Sri Lanka is going to get cash infusion from China, which will help them start repaying the huge 65 billion, depending on the source. Some say 63, some say $68 billion. And let's continue with the next slide. In fact, the negotiations with China has improved the standing of the Sri Lankan workers, and it re-employs 138 former MPMC workers, and the compensation for other affected employees will be more than 1 million rupees. And then the next slide, is there some more slides? No more? Okay. So, kita natin yung kasinungalingan ni Goles at nitong si Professor Carlita Carlos. Obviously, they did not do their own research here. Kaya we had this chance to expose their lies, their ignorance of the situation there. So, ano reaction mo ka, Ado?
Well, ang akin dito in the first place, yung host country ang nagsasubmit ng mga specifications. First, mga projects, for financing. And then yung specifications. And then yung kanilang request for loan. Kaya nga tayo dito sa Pilipinas, mayroon tayong NEDA. Because there were some during the Marcos era na they were claiming na white elephants. Pero hindi naman, actually. But to be able to escape that possibility na part of the grants or the loan money will go astray and build white elephants, precisely yan nga ang mga pinag-iingatan. First, ang nag-request ng pera, hindi naman sinupo ng China yan sa kanila. Ni-request yan ng Sri Lanka. So, dapat may market viability yan.
I'll give you the political background here. Ang pumirma po nitong kontrata sa Hambantota for around 1.5 billion, yung dating Presidente President Rajapaksa of Sri Lanka. Nung natalo siya ngayon ang nagproprotesta laban doon sa pinirmahan niya.
Yun na nga.
At saka yung politikong anak niya na gustong tumakbo bilang presidente or some of the high positions. Nilagyan ng kulay. Tapos ito naman, pinick up ng kalaban ng China, Estados Unidos at India.
Correct.
At yan ang pinopropaganda nila. Samantalang sinasabi nila ay Chinese entrapped Sri Lanka in a debt trap that it cannot pay, and it is desperate. But the fact is, the debt trap was set up by ADB, IDA, the Japanese government. These are the biggest creditors, and this built up over the decades.
Sabi nga, liars can figure, but figures
That's
don't
right.
lie.
That's why we showed the figures.
So, andyan sila, they speak for themselves, at lumalabas pa ang nag-bailout sa Sri Lanka na hindi naman nga dapat gawin. Wala namang kumpanksyon na gawin pa niya yun.
So, how did China do it? Nag-debt swap siya. Okay, you have $8 billion. Let's start with the $1.1 billion na utang nyo dyan sa port. Mag-debt swap tayo. Ano? So, yung utang, i-convert to equity para stockholding. Yung babayad na kami ng cash. Ano? Tapos, kaming magpapaandar, but you take care of security. Ano? The Sri Lankan military. So, walang question ng soberenya.
Well, this is not the first time that China is doing this debt reduction scheme. Doon sa mga countries sa Africa na tinulungan niya, na nabulaho din, pero hindi naman sa kanya humiram, pero sa iba, ang unang offer niya is debt reduction scheme.
They wiped out they wrote off the debt of Zimbabwe and several other countries.
Several other countries. And I think that's the more appropriate na panunuri na dapat nating gawin at hindi yung paninira. Itong sina Carlos, tsaka ito sina Goles, sinusuplayan lang naman ng talking points yan ng mga dayuhan At binabasa nila na kung anong konsiderasyon dyan, hindi ko na alam. But, bakit naman nila? They're supposed to be trusted authorities in the public opinion.
They become trusted authorities kasi binibuild up sila ng ABS-CBN, ANC, CNN Philippines, Inquirer. Sila lagi ang ini-interview, sila ang nilalagay sa mga payagan. Si Rappler in-interview.
And they have the upper hand sa public relations build-up kasi may perang pumapasok dyan hindi naman as innocent as it looks
Well, what is the money Rappler is getting? From one institution lang, yung Omidyar, $1.5 million. That is how many? 60, 70 million pesos.
70 million pesos.
Ngayon, ay nasabit sa SEC dahil labag sa rules of Filipino ownership of media. Ngayon, i-donate sa 14 executives and officers of Rappler. Hindi ba this is a
admission na yan
Admission, number one. Number two, this is a giant environmental journalism.
Payola.
Payola.
Benta na nabenta na noon. Nagbigay sila ng veto powers. Nag-issue sila ng PDRs. Nung naipit sila, kinumbert naman nilang payola.
Yes.
So,
samantalang ako, Kaado, I don't get paid doing this show that I've been doing for 9 years. All of the issues that are coming out today, kuryente, mahal na tubig, panloloko sa kuryente, yung mga eleksyon na anomalies of Smartmatic, we have been exposing this. We don't get paid. We pay for our fuel, we pay for our time, we do ganyan po rin si Ado Paglinawan sa kanyang radio program. Ang katotohanan po ay isang bagay na iyong tinutulak na walang isip kung anumang may kita man o wala,
Hindi, tsaka we don't have to do it. But when we do it, we do our homework naman. Kasi, my gosh, you're facing the public. You're supposed to be serving the public.
So if I may ask our tech to flash again the Goles image and the Clarita Carlos para matandaan ng publiko kung sino ang mga huwad. Who are the frauds in our society? May titulado sila, Annapolis graduate daw ito si Goles at yung si Clarita Carlos, UP retired professor, nasa National Defense College, so maraming bine-brainwash yan na mali, na mga sundalo, mga officers pa. Well, we leave that with you to think about, and if you are convinced, then help expose these people and their disinformation. Stand by for our second part about the disinformation, the fake news tungkol naman sa BBL, and what it will bring, the peril it will bring to this country. Let's take this break.